So you can take either the Juvela mix or you can take the low profin, whichever one you want. I'm just going to take a box of the Juvela. And the first thing we're going to do is put it into the bowl. So you can keep your box out if you want to just remind yourself of oven temperatures and things if you can't remember. And going to add the yeast. Okay, so into the bowl, the whole packet, okay, the whole packet of flour and the yeast. Now you're making this recipe 1 between 2, okay, so on a table, one side will make one focaccia, one side will make the other, so it's just 1 between 2, so if you can work together. You've got a scraper, going to be giving those out, so, or a spoon, and you're just going to mix that through. Mix your yeast through to the flour. Now that's actually quite important because if you put some of the other ingredients in on top of it, it can actually clog the yeast together. So you must mix that through first of all. Right, Barbara, as I said, has done all your bits and bobs for the recipe, but what she hasn't measured out is your water. Now I've noticed that the units have had new equipment and you'll need to measure out your water. You'll see that it's 450 mils of water, which we're going to put into the blender pot. Now again, I think there's just one of these between each table, so you probably have to take that in turns. You're going to put in your yeast, not your yeast, sorry, your garlic. It's great, Barbara's prepared everything. Going to put in some salt, and you'll see that it's 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So a little bit of salt. I think the pots that I've got here, you've got a little tub of salt in your unit. And what's the other thing that goes in there? The olive oil, that's what it is. Right, your olive oil, you can use either a light olive oil or a darker one, whichever one you want. I'm going to use the darker one, and it says 2 tablespoons, so that's the big spoon is going to go in on top. Okay, so a couple of... Now this actually gives it a nice colour because it's got a greeny kind of a hue to it. It gives it a nice colour. Now, blender, again, I think you've got 1 between 2. These, if you can't remember, are in the cupboards just in front of you, along with your mixer. So in that goes. Going to make a bit of a noise here, and we'll just blend this up. Oops. Right, okay, now, one of the things that we were chatting about when we were at Nick Nairn's is John, the chef, was talking about how you could put any flavour into this water, and later on this evening I'm going to give you the chance to create maybe your own thing. I've got some fresh herbs and things. You could just flavour that water in whatever way you wanted. Add colour to your bread, yes, if you wanted to do that. This is what he calls an infusion, what he called an infusion. So you could think about doing that. As I say, you'll get a chance to do that a little later on when we wander a little bit further from the recipe. Right, okay, next thing we're going to add this to our flour. So you've got all of this, it's going to go into your mixture. You pour it all in together, give it a quick stir with the mixer, and then... Now you can see that I'm moving the bowl and the mixer, okay? And it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get it into a smooth dough. Right, so it's a big, thick batter. There's a couple of little lumps, and then another. Goes out. Right. Now the mixture, as you perhaps remember, for those of you who were in the very first classes that we did, these need to be put into water or rinse them off because you're going to use them later on. So try and just get the worst of the mixture off those because we're going to use them again. All right. Now take the mixture down from the top of the bowl and make sure that you haven't left any flour at the top. Now, Stella has been a star, and I think Anne-Marie has helped as well. All your tins are lined for you. This is non-stick parchment, okay? As you know, greaseproof paper is not effective with a low-protein mixed flour. So you need a non-stick parchment. If you need to chat to me about that afterwards, I'm going to do a little bit more work on it later on. But come and see me, and I will make sure that you buy the right thing. The mixture won't stick to this. It's already been prepared. So just try and get that in. In it goes. The whole lot. Now, as I say, this is 1 between 2, so you will get half of this each to take home. And you can smell the garlic. So just spread that out into your tin. So into the bottom of the tin. Now the tin is what we call a spring form tin. It's got a release on the side, and you'll see why later on, okay? I'm going to take my thumb, dip my thumb in the water, and I'm going to make holes in the dough all the way round in a circle. I'll pick it up and let you see in a second. And into the holes we're going to put the flavouring, okay? You can tell this is an Italian recipe, can't you? Because it's really messy. But the water will actually stop the dough sticking to you, which is a bit of an irony, really, because the dough is sticky because of the water. But we'll talk about that in the next dish that we do as well, and I'll show you how sometimes water's really effective for actually shaping the dough. So then you have indentations, yes? That's okay, that's the camera. So you're going to then just drizzle the top. I'm forgetting you there, Alan. You're going to drizzle the top. This is where we were all laughing when he did this. He said, put a little bit of olive oil on the top. Rather a lot of olive oil it was. And you're just going to spread that over with your fingers. Okay. So that really those little holes, the oil is going to go into the holes. And of course I'm using the really nice olive oil here because it's going to give it a good flavour. Now, into the holes, we're going to put a couple of things. Oh, first of all, this goes on, actually, forgot about that. The oregano, and Barbara's measured that out, put that out for us. It's just a little sprinkling over the top. Now, interestingly, I was thinking about this the other day. One of the things that he said was he wasn't a big fan of dried herbs, but the one that he would recommend was oregano. So I don't think we asked him a lot about that, why, but that was the one that he thought was probably the best out of all the dried ones. So sprinkle that over the top, and then on top of that he put some red onion. Tidy up because the camera's looking at me. Some red onion and some olives, okay, some black olives. Now then the olives, I'm putting them in every third hole, so she can't count, because we're going to alternate with the different things. So some olives in to some of the holes. That's it. And some red onion. Now, Barbara has prepared your onion. She's left the little root section on, and what you do is you cut through the root and put that down flat on your table. Can you all see over there? Okay, flat onto your table. Just nick that little end bit off because we don't actually want that very end bit in the focaccia, and then just do little wedges. Okay, just do little wedges. We have almost enough there. And then you break these up, and you're going to put these into the other holes. And what happens is the dough rises up around the onion. All right, so you're going to end up with bits of onion. And you can see, looking at this, well, I was quite excited watching him make this because it was worked out so well. You can see what you could do. You could put all sorts of different things in here. And it worked so well with the low-protein flour. The result was so effective that it was quite inspiring for us to think of all the different things that we could be putting in with you guys. Right, so that's probably enough of the onion. and then into the third little hole. So really you're just alternating it, is a little sprig of rosemary. I don't look nearly as professional as John did. So we'll pop those into... Oh, just about ready. Yes. I'm going to put that, can you see that? So I'm going to leave that there. Yep, that's ready. And you'll be mortified, but he put some more olive oil on it when it came out. So we'll put a little bit more olive oil just over the top, okay, just to drizzle.